Rhea Ripley didn't just drop a bombshell, she tore the entire roof off with a confession that has the entire WWE Universe talking. It wasn't during a dramatic match or in a chaotic backstage brawl. It was a quiet, honest moment in an ESPN Plus interview with Stephanie McMahon. But what she revealed hit harder than any steel chair shot. The former women's world champion admitted that she almost gave up on her dream. She nearly walked away from wrestling, from WWE, and from everything she worked her entire life for. And why? Because she didn't feel like she was enough. She didn't believe she was seen. And for the first time, fans got to hear just how dark things got before Rhea Ripley became the powerhouse we now call the Nightmare. Before the muscles, the black lipstick, and the championship belts, there was a girl named Demi Bennett from Australia, trying to fit in. And the truth is, she never really did. When she arrived in WWE, Rhea was blonde, quiet, and desperately trying to find her place. She smiled for the cameras, followed the rules, and tried to be what she thought WWE wanted. But behind the curtain, she felt invisible. She was overlooked, underestimated, and pushed to the side. Nothing about her screamed future champion. And that pressure? It built up. The criticism, the whispers, the glances that made her feel like she didn't belong, they all pushed her closer to quitting. She wasn't just doubting herself, she was drowning in it. And then came the turning point. She said she sat down with herself one night and asked the question that changed her life. What makes me uncomfortable? Her answer? The way she looked. She realized she was hiding behind her long blonde hair like it was a shield. Every time she felt embarrassed, every time the pressure got to her, she would let that hair fall in front of her face like a curtain. It wasn't just a style, it was a mask, a way to avoid being truly seen. That night, Rhea decided she wasn't going to hide anymore. If she was going to fail, she'd do it as her real self. No more playing it safe, no more holding back. So she chopped it off. She ditched the blonde. She embraced the dark, the edgy, the raw version of herself that had been buried under fear. And that was the moment the Nightmare was born. But it wasn't about looking tough. It was about being real. And WWE fans felt it. You could see it in her walk, in her promos, in every single match. She wasn't pretending anymore, she was unleashing. But even that transformation didn't happen overnight. Rhea's journey to the top was filled with more setbacks, more battles, and more moments where she could have cracked. She talked about how music helped her rediscover who she was. Bands like Papa Roach, Motionless in White, Of Mice and Men. She wasn't just listening to their lyrics, she was living them. She said those artists looked scary, tatted up, dressed in black, but behind it all, they were some of the kindest, most genuine people she'd ever met. That contrast? That's what she wanted to reflect. And it's why she stopped trying to be what WWE expected and started becoming someone who couldn't be ignored. Then came 2023, the year of Rhea Ripley, the year she shut everyone up. She won the Royal Rumble, entered WrestleMania with fire in her eyes, and took down Charlotte Flair to become the Women's World Champion. That match wasn't just about the title, it was redemption. It was her declaration of war on every doubt she ever faced. And she didn't just win, she conquered. From that point on, there was no looking back. Rhea Ripley was the face of the women's division, and not just because of her skill. She had presence, power. She was the one you couldn't take your eyes off. And a big part of that success? The Judgment Day. Her alliance with Dominic Mysterio, arguably one of the most hated figures in wrestling at the time, turned Rhea into a full-blown heel. But here's the twist, fans still loved her. No matter how villainous she got, no matter how brutal she was in the ring, people respected her. Because they saw the growth, they saw the grind. She wasn't handed anything, she fought for every single accolade, every roar of the crowd. And while Dominic added heat to her act, it was clear Rhea didn't need anyone's help to get over. She had already arrived. But just when you thought her story had peaked, the fans flipped the script. As 2024 rolled in, cheers began to drown out the boos. It wasn't something WWE wrote, it was something the audience created. Rhea Ripley had become a babyface, and it happened naturally. Fans didn't just admire her anymore, they rallied behind her. They saw her as a fighter, someone who'd walked through fire and come out stronger. And WWE couldn't ignore it. Especially not after her epic showdown with Nia Jax at the Elimination Chamber in her home country of Australia. That moment? That was a full-circle celebration. The girl who once wanted to quit had the entire arena in the palm of her hand. And she delivered. Big time. But here's where things get wild. On January 6th, 2025, the Netflix premiere episode of Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley reclaimed the Women's World Championship by defeating Liv Morgan. She had it again. The gold, the crown, the top spot. But now came the hardest part. What do you do after your biggest years? How do you top 2023 and 2024? 2 back-to-back years where you shattered expectations and rewrote your story? That's the challenge. Because in WWE, it's not just about what you did, it's about what you're going to do next. And that brings us to WrestleMania 41, the biggest stage, the brightest lights, and the most unpredictable match. Rhea has ever faced, a triple threat against Io Sky and Bianca Belair. But there's a catch. All 3 women are babyfaces. All 3 are fan favorites. And that's a storytelling nightmare. Wrestling psychology is built on conflict, good versus evil. But when the ring is filled with nothing but good guys, who's the villain? Who's the crowd supposed to turn on? That's the problem WWE has to solve. Now here's the twist. Rhea's starting to show a little more edge again. A bit more aggression. Some fans are wondering, are we seeing the return of the old nightmare? Is she going heel again? Or is this just her adapting to the chaos? Honestly, it's hard to say, because while WWE might tease a turn, the timing has to be perfect. Flip her too soon, and you risk burning all that babyface momentum. Wait too long, and you lose the spark. It's a balancing act, and Rhea's walking the tightrope. What makes this match even more compelling is that all 3 competitors are so wildly different. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, is flashy, explosive, and as consistent as it gets. Io Sky is the high-flying underdog with a cult following and unmatched athleticism. And Rhea? She's the enforcer, the powerhouse, the emotional center of the entire women's division. It's not just a title match, it's a collision of styles, energies, and fan bases, and nobody really knows how it's going to go down. Rhea has everything to gain and everything to lose. If she wins, she cements her legacy as a generational talent, someone who didn't just survive WWE's system but bend it to her will. If she loses, people will start asking questions. Has she peaked? Is her run fading? That's the pressure. That's the weight of greatness. But don't count her out, because Rhea Ripley has made a career out of proving people wrong. From being an insecure rookie with blonde hair and self-doubt to becoming one of the most dominant forces WWE has ever seen, her story is one of constant evolution. And she's not done, not by a long shot. WrestleMania 41 isn't the end of the road, it's the next chapter. And whatever happens in that ring, one thing is clear, Rhea Ripley isn't hiding anymore. She's not playing by anyone else's rules. The girl who once wanted to quit has become the woman that everyone else has to chase. Her transformation is complete, but her legacy is still being written. So now the question goes to you. Does Rhea Ripley walk out of WrestleMania 41 as the Women's World Champion, the queen of the division once again? Or does the nightmare finally end? Let us know what you think, because this story, it's far from over.